Hello guys and welcome to Life Survival Guide. I'm back and I'm recharged and I'm here to tell you, as I promised, about my Roth IRA account that I created with my tax refund. This is your survival guide. I got my tax refund and it was automatically deposited in my savings account. It went something like this. Nice. Fucking son of... Best of all, I didn't have to pay a penny to do my taxes. And if you want to know how, check this video out. My tax refund in total was $700. But I used $500 to open my Roth IRA. And why is that? Because I used the other $300 to get a camera, I wanted to up the video quality of the channel because, you know, I'm up for the challenge and everything has to be perfect when I do it. So if you check this out, there's a nice blur in the back. I'm still crispy. It's amazing. What else you want? It's amazing. Well, anyways, I did my research. I was gonna open the Roth IRA account in my local credit union, but I realized that they were charging trading fees. There are banks that you don't have to pay for to trade fees. That's something in the past. That's the millennial way. Millennial ways do it for free. The new investors want it for free. So I did a little bit more research on which banks were offering the free trading, and I found myself looking at the Charles Schwab account. They have a long history, like a really long history of investments, right? So I thought it was gonna be safe. It's gonna be the best place. So I went ahead and I created the account. I added the $500, and I found myself in a website with a fuck ton of information. You guys have no idea. The fucking website has so much, like, numbers here, numbers there, and information here, information there, analysis. Like, it has everything. It even tells you the color of the underwear of the dude that bought the fucking investment, and like you can analyze it and making sure that was his lucky underwear. Like, who knows? Like, it has a lot of information. So I clicked through everything. I went to every page I could inside of the platform, and after reading all that, I'm proud to say that I don't know shit. But jokes aside, I thought I get used to the platform, and I found a tool that they have that they help you build your portfolio based on the type of investor you are and based on the type of risk that you want to take. So I went ahead and I said, I mean, it's free guidance, let's fucking do it. And they answered some questions, and then he told me that they recommended to start investing with $2,500, and I was like, no, I have $5. But that's all right. You can start with the amount of $500. In fact, that's the minimum to start their account. There are other banks accounts that have a lower minimum. You can, of course, go ahead and open an account there. Like, everybody starts somewhere. So as long as you start doing it, that's the good way. You're on a good path. And I answered the questions and everything. It let me know. Well, it gave me like a list of mutual funds because I wanted to invest in mutual funds. It gave me a list of mutual funds that it recommended me based on my profile. So they were divided into large cap, mid cap, small cap, and international, if I'm correct. And also, I think it had also cash funds, if I remember right. And inside of each one, it gave me like around 3 or 4 funds that I could invest in. And even though like if you check them, you can still go into one of them and they have other information on the side that it recommends you or tells you other funds that are kind of like the same as that one. If you want something else that is the same but different. So I had to start somewhere. With the $500 I had, I couldn't buy everything of everything, right? So what I did is that I put most of my money into the large cap. Then I went a little bit more than the rest that I had on the small cap, and the rest I put it on an international. And something that I found out is that, for example, if I wanted to buy the large cap, they had like a $50 minimum investment to start with. So that's something to take into account too. But after that, you can put any money that you want. It's just the first time that you pay. So, well, I followed the list. Something that I found out is that funds have a prospectus, and it tells you all the information about the investment. It tells you their fees. For example, it has management fees and other type of fees. It's not a lot, but still something that is good to take into account. And it tells you their objective, what they believe in, and the investments that they have, and their holdings, the percentages of the holdings, which is good information to make sure that you know where your money is going, right? So, for example, my one of the holdings that my large cap has is Microsoft. And so Microsoft is something that I believe is something that I use. Now, I think I haven't explained what large cap, mid cap, small cap, and international is. So I'm gonna give you a quick definition. So large cap is any investment that their capitalization is above $10 billion. So for example, to find out that number, you take how much a share is worth, and you multiply it for amounts of shares that they sell, and you will get the number. So for example, if you take what the share is worth, you multiply it, whatever, it's gonna give you more than 10 billion, is a large cap. Mid cap is below 10 billion, and a small cap is below 2 billion. Each has its own pros and its own cons. So what I did is that I got large cap and a small cap. I didn't get mid cap. I mean, I didn't have a lot of money, so I was like, I better go to one end and then to the other end rather than putting everything on the mid. So I basically diversified my portfolio, into different allocations. Diversification is key to make sure the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify it, because if something doesn't go the way you want, you have another backup plan. So that's why I put it on large cap and small cap. I make sure that they are diversified into both ends. And plus I have the international, which the international is companies, of course, outside the United States. For example, you have the one that I have holds Nestle, Heineken, and a pharmaceutical in Japan, and other stuff. So I felt that a lot of people use Nestle products, so a lot of people also drink Heineken. I believe Heineken is the sponsor on the Champions, if I'm correct. So from my experience, what I can tell you is that first, you have to make sure that the bank that you're doing it has free trading. Second, you want to make sure to read the prospectus of the investment that you're putting your money in. Third, I will say that diversification is good, and that will tell you, everybody will tell you that anyways. So I'm sure you might know at this point. 4, make sure that the investment where you're putting your money in has a long track record. That means that it comes, that means that they are experienced with the market. Because if you put, like, for example, on a fund that started 5 years ago, this pandemic will be, I think it will be their first pandemic. So that's some experience that they didn't have. Whereas other mutual funds that might be older, for example, I think my large cap is like really old. It's older than me. just saying, I think is as old as my dad too. So they have a long track record that you can see. You can also see if they achieved their target, if the investment achieved the target that they were aiming for, and if they did, that gives you a good insight that they're managing the investment in a good way. And I'm completely sure, guys, that if I did it, I'm completely sure that you can do it. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm sure you can do it and you can get money from that. And just to make sure that if you feel like you don't understand it, make sure that you play it safe. But right now, for example, my investment profile is aggressive because I know that the money that I have, I can play with it till retirement. So as time progresses and I keep getting older and older, I will start like moving around my investments to make sure that they start being safer and safer and safer. The only problem that if, for example, I moved into safe, I know that my returns are probably not going to be that high, but I know that my investment will be as secure as possible. Whereas right now, I can take the impact that I put $500, and then in a year or 2 years, let's say that there's like, well, right now, like the pandemic, the shares went down. I know I can take the hit because I'm gonna use that money until retirement. So I know that the market will come back up and it will go up. It always does. So I'm confident that right now my aggressive investments can have a good return. So if you guys have questions or anything, leave them in the comment. I'll be more than glad to answer them. And as always, make sure you take that first step to financial independence. And I'll see you on the next one.